Hey everyone, this is Nick. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the modes of melodic minor. So what is melodic minor? Well, it's essentially a major scale with a flat third. Now, to really understand the modes of melodic minor and the chords that come from it, you're going to have to know the major modes. So here's a quick recap of the major modes. We have Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. There's 7 modes because there's 7 distinct notes in the scale. Now, in the melodic minor mode, with the melodic minor mode, since it so closely resembles the major modes, we can identify those modes using the major modes as references. So, in a melodic minor scale, we have the root, we have the major second, or the natural 9, we have the flat third, we have the perfect fourth, the perfect fifth, the major 6th, or natural 13, and then we have a major 7. That would be the first mode, and there's a few names for it. In melodic minor, there's a lot of ways of calling each mode. So the first mode is what we would call Ionian flat 3 or Dorian major 7. This is what most people use whenever they see a minor major 7th chord. Our next mode is going to be Phrygian natural 6. So we have the root, we have the flat 9, we have the sharp 9, and we have the perfect fourth, perfect fifth, then we have the major 6th or natural 13, then we have a flat 7. You can use Phrygian natural 6 over dominant chords. You can also use it as a cool substitution over sus chords. You could do the same thing with Phrygian normally, and Phrygian natural 6 is just kind of another take on that. Our third mode is Lydian Augmented. We have the root, we have the major second, we have the major third, then we have a sharp 11 or sharp 4, then we have a sharp 5, a major 6, and then a major 7. You can use Lydian Augmented on major 7 sharp 5 chords or augmented major 7 chords, or you can use it as a superimposition on regular Lydian chords. Our next mode is Lydian Dominant. We have the root, we have the major second, we have the major third, we have the sharp 4 or the sharp 11, we have the perfect fifth, then we have the major 6, and then dominant 7. Usually, in a functional setting, people use Lydian Dominant on a dominant 2 chord, a flat 6 chord, a flat 7 chord, or a minor 3rd chord. This is the mode that people refer to when they're using tritone substitutions, and usually it's used whenever you have a dominant chord going down a half step. Our next mode is going to be Mixolydian flat 6. For this mode, we have the root, we have the major second or natural 9, we have the major third, we have the perfect fourth, perfect fifth, flat 6 or flat 13, flat 7, and then the root again. One example I've seen of this in a real tune is in the song My Ideal. The second chord in My Ideal is a C9 with a flat 13. Because the melody note is hitting a 9, but the tune calls for some kind of alteration on that. It can be used over dominant chords as a substitution if you want a slightly altered and not a super tense sound. Then we have what I call Locrian natural 9, or it can be called Aeolian flat 5. So in this we have the root, we have the natural 9 or the major second, we have the flat 3rd, perfect 4th, flat 5th, flat 6, flat 7, and then the root again. And we have that sound. It's another take on Locrian. You got the natural 9. Some people say it's a little more modern sounding. And you can use that over any minor 7 flat 5 chord, and you can use it over a minor 2-5 over the 2 chord. Now our last mode is what we call the altered scale. This scale has a root, a flat 9, a sharp 9, a major 3rd, a sharp 4, a sharp 5 or flat 6, minor 7th, and then the root again. The reason why it's called altered is because you have a dominant 7 show voicing, you have the root, you have the major 3rd, and you have a flat 7, and then you have the flat 9, you have the sharp 9, you have the sharp 11, sharp 5th, or flat 13. So all of the upper extensions are altered. So now I'm going to go over a few examples of where to use it. So let's take a minor 2-5-1 in the key of D minor. Our first chord is going to be E half diminished. Our second chord is going to be A7 altered. And then our third chord is going to be D minor. So melodic minor gives us a few options. For the first chord, it's a half diminished chord, so we're going to use Aeolian flat 5 or Locrian natural 9. This is a 6th mode. So since it is a 6th mode, for this we're going to be using G melodic minor. And then we have our A7 altered chord. We're going to be using the altered mode, which is a 7th mode, so we're going to be using B flat melodic minor. And then our last chord is D minor 7. We're going to play it G minor major 7. And for that, you just use D melodic minor. You have a major 7 on that, so it's not quite D minor 7 anymore. It's D minor major 7, but it's a cool substitution. Now let's take a tune like Take the A Train and see where we can place melodic minor. So our first chord is C major 7. We can make that C augmented major 7, and we can use C Lydian Augmented. So since Lydian Augmented is a 3rd mode of melodic minor, to play C Lydian Augmented we play A melodic minor. Our second mode is D7, and since it's the dominant 2 chord, we're going to be using Lydian Dominant, and that's also going to come from A melodic minor because Lydian Dominant is the 4th mode. And then we have D minor 7. Well, we're going to use D melodic minor. And then we have a G7. So we have a couple options. We can use altered, or we can use Mixolydian flat 6. Over the G7 chord, we could also use Phrygian natural 6, and then go back to C majors. And we can choose to either just use a regular old C Lydian, or a C Lydian Augmented. So in context, we have D minor, that comes from D melodic minor, and then we have G7. So let's use Phrygian natural 6. That's the 2nd mode, so we're going to use F melodic minor. And you get that sound. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've gotten a better insight on melodic minor. If you have any questions, please ask them below. If you found this video lesson useful, please like and subscribe so I can continue making these videos and bringing you more cool jazz things. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the and you can use that over any. And this scale has a root, and this mode,